Hi, we're Kaylee and Sam, and in May of 2021 we decided to buy ourselves an empty Sprinter van. It's taken us a long time to get here, but please like, subscribe and follow along to see how we turn this empty van into our dream home on wheels. So today we are building the shower. We've been umming and ahhing about what we're going to do with it for a while, and we think the best way to do it is to do like a custom shower, which we've seen another couple do on YouTube. So we'll link their video below because it was really helpful for us, wasn't it, to kind of think about how we're going to do it, because a shower tray, they only come in so many sizes, so it makes it really difficult to kind of then map your shower around it, I guess. So,
yeah, we obviously have to have a slightly smaller than usual shower, and also, you know, maybe I think we can go slightly longer, but we can't go wider, so we kind of made up for the lack of size by making it slightly longer. So it's a slightly awkward dimension. And you can get custom ones, but they're just ridiculously expensive.
So expensive, like too expensive.
£200 or something.
Yeah, I got a quote from one place, and it was just more than it needed to be. So finding this solution made a lot more sense to us, didn't it?
Yeah, it's probably about a quarter of the price maybe that it would have been to do it the other way.
And,
so,
and we get the size that we want, so we're not compromising on anything, which is ideal really, isn't it?
100%.
So what we're doing is building the shower cubicle itself out of 2x1s that we have down here. We've got it all mapped out on the floor. So we've got 2x1s that we're building the shower out of, and then we're using plywood to do the walls, which we can then sort of bend against the side of the van a little bit easier, so you get the most out of the space.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use a tanking kit so that it's like fully waterproof. But we're going to do that at a later date. Today is just getting the frame in so that we can then get the ceiling done and the walls done.
Yes, because we wanted to maximise space in the shower, so instead of cladding the whole walls and then putting the shower over the top, and then you kind of lose the width of the cladding in kind of space.
Yeah.
So we decided if we do the shower first, just the frame, and then we can do the cladding on the walls up to the shower, maximise the space that way.
Definitely, and it also just means that we're drilling it in directly into the floor, directly into the struts we've got on the wall, and potentially into the ceiling, depending on where it goes.
Yeah, so we will
need to line it up and see, but yeah. So it just makes it more structural as well, doesn't it? It makes it a bit safer.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're going to crack on with that now, and we'll show you how we do it as we go, I guess. We'll film what we're doing and put in bits that are useful. So we have decided to take a bit of a pause from building the bathroom unit. So I think the last things we showed was kind of putting up this framing here. And now that that's up, we can sort of move on to the walls, which is something we've been wanting to do for ages. It just makes it feel more like a finished kind of home once the walls are in. So we have decided to start cladding on here. It feels fairly thin and stuff, but we don't want anything heavy, do we?
Yeah, so much of it that it doesn't really need to be any thick or anything. If we need to anything to be anchored more into the wall, then we can obviously just make sure it's anchored into these sort of thicker timber, so it doesn't really need to be that strong. And actually, it feels pretty all right once it's all clicked together. Kind of the more you click in, the sort of stronger it starts to feel.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I think it should be fine. I don't think I think some people go a little bit thicker, but some people go for. I think most people seem to go for about this.
Yeah, definitely. It seems to be.
Yeah,
so we got our one from Wickes in the end, because I think B&Q's one was maybe more expensive. I don't know. It's worth looking around a little bit though, because it is all the same thing. So if you can save more money, the better, really. But yeah, so what we're doing is going from the height of where the bed frame is here. So this is MDF underneath for the garage bit. So we're just starting up and going up from here, because we thought it doesn't need to look pretty under the garage. It's only us that's going to see it down there, so there's no need to spend more money on it looking nice. But
yeah, and we don't make it smaller because we already put a bit of wood here to kind of hold the bed up, as you might have seen in the previous video. So yeah, there was no point putting cladding over the top and just losing space and adding weight for no reason. You know, we'll paint it white probably, but as you said, it's only under the bed, so.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be.
Less important, I would say.
Yeah, so I think we will put in a few sort of clips of us doing it, but all we're doing basically is the beams that are under here are self-tapped into the framing of the van. They're in the metal. So we're then putting screws in here, just like your normal wood screws, straight into here, into the beams, and we're just doing them along where the beams are. And it seems to be working quite well so far, so we're going to carry on with that and show you when it's done. So it is, I think, a few weeks later now from when we started putting up our walls here. We now have the walls all the way up on this side and on this side, and they are looking pretty good. We're really happy with them. But we basically took a few weeks off. We got engaged during doing all of this, which has been really nice. So we had a little engagement party and just sort of enjoyed it for a bit, really. Took a few weeks off. But we are back on the van. We are determined to get some stuff done. We've actually bought all of our kitchen units now, so we got all of them from IKEA, which are kind of all on the floor around me now, but we'll show you those when we start putting them up. But yeah, we were umming and ahhing for a while about what to do with the kitchen, and we thought, well, we can make it ourselves, but we don't really know what we're doing. Like, we could work it out, and I'm sure it would be fine, but it's a lot more time, and we've both handed in our notices now, ready to sort of start full-time van life, so the idea of adding more time just to do it ourselves wasn't something we really wanted to do. So getting the IKEA units made a lot more sense to us, and it was also cheaper, I think, right?
The price of wood, price of timber and stuff's gone up a lot recently, so it's pretty much the same price to just get it flat pack, do it yourself. You obviously have a little bit less flexibility, but it kind of worked out perfect size wise anyway, so we wouldn't have really gained anything by doing it ourselves.
No, and like the style we've gone through, if I show you now, is kind of like wood effect anyway, so it has got what we wanted. It's just IKEA, and it actually fits perfectly in the space that we're doing. So today's job is to try and get it up, really. There's a few kind of things that we need to work out, so like that's why Sam's on the floor now. Is you can see here our step, like the kitchen counter is going to hang over where the step is, so we just need to work out a way to sort of make sure that's a little bit sturdier underneath, because we don't want the weight of the kitchen weighing down on this floating bit of wood. So we're doing that today. We think we're going to do like kind of like a horse shape bit of timber underneath just to support it up a bit. Hopefully that'll do the trick. We then just need to attach the kitchen onto here along this bit. I think we need to work out the height slightly, but basically IKEA give you like well, they say give you have to buy extra. It's like this long metal beam that you can then screw the kitchen units into, and it just felt like a sturdy way to do it. But I think you were saying, weren't you, that you can only get like one size, so you need to work out how to cut it down a little bit as well.
I think it'll be easy enough to cut, but yeah, they only do one size, so we're just going to cut it down to the length we need it, and yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, so that's the plan today. I think we really want to crack on with it, but we're going to film what we can, and as always, like anything we do, we will talk through and sort of put links to the IKEA stuff we went through, and yeah, hopefully we're going to have a kitchen today, which will be quite exciting.
Yeah, without a worktop.
Yeah, it won't have a worktop, but it's still a kitchen. Yeah, I mean, we've got a few days off now, so we're going to try and get the kitchen done today.
Yeah, and then we can order the worktop.
Order the worktop, get that ready, and then hopefully finish off the bathroom, because it's still a shell at the moment. So get some walls up on there and maybe order the tanking kit.
Yeah.
I have more of an ambitious list than Sam, but we're going to get a lot done over the next few days, so we will keep filming and keep showing what we're doing. So it's a couple of days later now from when we sort of talked about what we were going to do. Everything's taken a little bit longer, or like we've just changed the order, I guess.
Yeah.
And what we need to do, like we worked out, so like if I take over here, like the box we've got down here that goes like over the wheel, we realised that it makes more sense to paint that and drill it into place before putting like the kitchen up. So we did that. Obviously when you do painting you then have to wait for it to dry, so it took days instead of one day.
Yeah, I think we didn't think we were going to do any painting. We thought painting once it's in place, but it's just easier to just paint it beforehand, and then you don't need to worry about getting it on the floor or getting it on the units. And
at least the first coat anyway. Like we can always touch it up after, but getting the first one on, we thought just get it on, get it done. But we have done step support we were talking about. So Sam, if you jump down, that'd be easier, because we've put our metal beam in now for like the kitchen, so you can see that here, but it runs across half of the doorway, which means slightly in the way at the moment. But Sam will show you what we've done underneath.
Yeah, so this is horseshoe sort of shape, as we said, and it just means that when you press down on there, it's not going to sort of stand on there, and it's all fine. Got a couple of them. It feels supportive. We thought about putting another beam across here just to stop them moving sort of left and right, kind of toppling. But they actually feel fine, and there's a kitchen unit going on there. So if we were going to be, walking around on it a lot, then maybe you'd want a bit more support. But actually, it's going to be a fairly steady unit that's on there all the time.
Yeah.
So should be fine as is. If it feels like it needs a bit more support, we can just wedge in a bit of timber. So that should be fine as well.
Yeah. So yeah, the plan now is to finally get these kitchen units on. So the way you do it with, come this way, the way you do it with IKEA ones is to kind of, they have these little brackets on the back of the units and they kind of slot into here. But it's a bit fiddly because you need to slot it in while also trying to put legs on the back and stuff. So we're going to have to try and do that now. We probably won't be able to film doing that because it is such a fiddly job. So we will put those on now, screw them in, and then show you guys after. Something else we did do actually, because of where our kitchen is, you can kind of see here, we added another bit of timber underneath here. I don't know if you can really see, but under there you can kind of see there's some timber underneath just to help support it so it's not just straight into the cladding, and it's got a bit of something, and it feels like really strong, to be honest. We're quite happy with it, aren't we?
Yeah, it feels like it should be alright. It's only this bit here that overhangs, so you might add a bit of timber going down from these struts that are down here under the step. We might do a bit of wood going there to there just to kind of give it a bit more rigidity. But I think we're going to put it on and just sort of see how it feels really first.
Yeah, I think we're not going to know until it's on, and then we can sort of go from there and see what needs tinkering with. And yeah, so we're going to put that on now, and then we'll show you how it went. Hopefully it works fine, but we'll show you after.
Alright, we've got two of our kitchen cabinets in now.
Yeah,
these
it's
two,
very
looks very
exciting.
nice. We had to cut into one of them because
we turn you around so you can put
we had to cut into one of these because the box that we put over the wheels sort of went into where the kitchen is, so we just cut into it.
A little messy at the back there, but it's fine. Like, we're neating it all up. It's just as long as it fits in.
Yeah, and then we attach them to the railings. Got the legs on at the bottom. They line up very nicely. It feels nice and solid, not going anywhere. So yeah, feeling good about it.
See under there, two of the legs are on. This one's just floating at the moment because we need to attach the other unit, but we're very happy with it, aren't we?
Nicely actually. Worked really nicely. A lot easier than doing it all yourself. And probably not much. Probably about the same price really, with the price of wood.
A bit cheaper,
Quite possibly, yeah, quite possibly. And it's all fits so nicely. It's all kind of soft closed drawers and all that, and it all just fits together nicely. So we've got this final one. This sort of double drawers to put on, but we're putting it on over the door, so it's sort of a floating bit of metal. So we just need to make sure it's strong enough. If it's not, then we're going to.
So I think we're gonna. Do you want to grab the wood and sort of? The plan is to, as you can see, it kind of floats up. So I mean, it feels pretty sturdy considering it's a bit of floating metal.
Yeah.
But I think the plan is to sort of attach some wood up, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think it'll be strong enough, to be honest. So we might put it up and just see how it feels, because it won't. I mean, it's not going to go anywhere. But obviously, the issue is once you start to use it, fill the cupboards with things, start leaning on it. You don't know
how long that's going to last. Yeah.
So I think we're going to put it up and just see how it feels. And if it needs a bit of strengthening, we can put a bit of battening here, attach it to these understep supports that we put in earlier, and then attach it to here, and then kind of brace it across. And it should give it enough strength. I think it'll be fine. It's also attached to the other units, so you need to push quite hard, I think, to run into any issues. But just want it to be as strong as possible, really.
Yeah, definitely. We don't want anything flying off, while we're moving. Ideally. So we're going to try and do that now. I mean, I don't know what the time is, but it's getting on quite late. It's a Sunday, and we need to get home and get work tomorrow. So we're going to try and finish this off. If we're feeling super ambitious still, we might try and get some walls up on the shower. We'll see. But we really want to get the kitchen up before we go home. That's the main sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we definitely will. Obviously, we don't have the worktop yet, but we'll have the main kitchen units up, ready to go, which will be nice. I think the space feels much more like, so we can really get a feel for what it's going to be like. So we've got the shower frame up, we've got the bed frame up, we've got the kitchen units up. So you have to, as we've gone along, you've had to use less and less imagination to kind of think about what it's going to end up looking like and what it's going to be like to live in.
Yeah, and like I'm stood in between now, like the kitchen and the shower, and it feels like enough space. I think that was one thing I was a bit worried about, is like, am I going to feel really like cramped? But
yeah,
it feels fine at the moment. So
it's going to be a bit cramped, but maybe less cramped than we thought it might be, because we went for slightly smaller units than we thought.
Yeah, what are these? I think this is like 37.
It's 37, and the countertop is going to be 40 centimetres. Normally, I think it's 60 centimetres, and then the countertop would be 63 centimetres in like a regular standard home. But obviously, you've then got a microwave, or you've got a kettle, or your sugar and tea in the way, and actually your kind of workspace ends up being about the same. So as long as you don't cluster it up, which we can't anyway, because when we drive, we won't want it to go flying. So you'll actually have the same amount of working space. It's just harder to find sinks and things that fit in the smaller gap.
Yeah.
So you've got a slightly less choice, but it's worth it, because when you're getting changed or whatever, you just want that extra bit of space. So it makes the van feel bigger, feel lighter. So I think it's a good call.
I think we might have found a sink that we think's gonna work, so we will order that and then put like a link below for it, because I find that's one thing that's really helpful when you're watching videos on people building vans, is to actually see where they got things from. So we're definitely going to try and link everything that we buy. I mean, who knows? I think we've got quite a lot of stuff from Amazon, so who knows if it's still going to be available, but we were at least making an attempt.
Give it a go.
Yeah. So we are back home now. We ended up, you can see it here, there. We ended up finishing the kitchen in Harrogate, which we were really happy about, weren't we? So we were up visiting Sam's parents for the Platinum Jubilee bank holiday thing. So we had a good 4 days, and our main thing was to get the kitchen up. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted to get it ticked off, because I don't know if we've ever fully explained, but we just don't have a lot of space here. We're working on the side of the road. We don't have any garage space, so everything we do is just moving wood around. So the kitchen is here, but all of this up here is our wood that we don't need for right now. So
yeah, it's good to finally have a place to put it, to be fair, on top of the kitchen, so it's kind of out the way. But normally it's all just on the floor, and you worry about standing on it and breaking it. And I actually built the IKEA units while here, like surrounded by stuff, and it was if you ever try to do flat pack in like a sort of metre squared space, it's not fun. So it's nice to get up to Harrogate, where my family have a garage. We should bung everything in the garage, and she's got a clean, empty van. We'll make sure we give it a good clean while it's empty. And so it was nice to be there for a bit, but we're back here now, so got to deal with all this.
Yeah, and it's definitely the hardest bit. I think if every time we came to the van it was empty and ready to go, we'd probably be a bit quicker with things. But every time we get in, we have to move stuff around so that we can get to what we need to get to, and then we do it again when we've done that bit and need to get to something else. But
and then also if you want to drive to go pick something up, you've got to then reorganise it in a kind of configuration that works for driving rather than a configuration that works for building. So it's just constantly moving stuff around. You can't really nip down for like 10 minutes and just do a little bit of work, because it always involves a lot of prep. So it's just motivating yourself to come down for a few hours to sort it all out first.
Yeah, so it is a bit of a pain, but it's gonna all be worth it in the end. I feel like we're getting quite close now. We're hoping that this weekend we can kind of get the last bits of furniture in that we need to, so that we can start wiring, and hopefully we've ordered everything that we need, so hopefully next weekend we can start the wiring, which would be quite exciting. It'd be nice to finally have some lights in here, because at the moment we're working with the kind of restraints of the sun. We need the sunlight, we need to be able to see.
We've got a lantern, which does a decent job.
We do have a tiny lantern,
but it's nicer with proper lights. That'll be nicer. We've also got a camping trip booked, so we've got a nice deadline to try and finish by.
Yes. So I think we're going to go camping with our friends end of July, and I am not a tent person, so we need to do it in the van. I'm determined to get the van done. I think the mattress, at the moment we're looking at getting maybe some foam from IKEA, so that should be like, there's no ordering involved for that, so we should be able to just go down and pick it up, cut it to size, but at least we don't have to worry about it. Like, that's not on our minds to it. We've got the slats and everything ready to go. It's just like I'm in between the bed thing at the moment. We've taken that one out, but we can't put the slats in yet because we need the space still. So
the bed's ready to go. It's just that we've still got the ceiling above the bed to do.
Yeah.
So we don't want to put the slats in and then not be able to easily stand there and work on the ceiling. So as soon as we've done the electrics, there's just a bit of wiring that needs to be done.
Yeah.
We can then do insulation, put the wood up, and then once the ceiling's done and it's painted and everything, we can then put the bed up, and then that'll be a bit nicer as well in terms of storage, because we can put stuff under the bed and we don't need to work there, so that'll be nicer as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think what we'll probably do as well when the van's finished is have a good chat, probably a whole video about the challenges of doing a van build yourself, because it does look very Instagrammable, and I mean, we knew it was going to be hard work, but I don't think anyone really talks about how much like you have to do at the same time when you don't have the space. Like,
yeah, I think a lot of people that you see on YouTube seem to have these like lovely workshops and things, and it's great if you have them. And you know, I think we'd probably want one if we were going to do another build. But yeah, I've not seen many people talk about if you don't have any space, if your whole workspace is just your van, what kind of challenges or advice? I don't know what advice we'd have really, because it's been hard. So, but I've not seen many people have to deal with that. So. Yeah,
because that's the other thing. Like we live in a flat, so it's not like we can even run an extension cord out for our tools. We have to use the battery and things. So yeah, I think we'll probably do a whole video about those kind of challenges and stuff, because it might be nice to know before you start, because I don't think we didn't see anyone doing it like this before we started.
No, I'm sure there are people, I'm sure there are lots of people out there, but we just hadn't seen many. We hadn't seen any videos of it. So.
Yeah, but for now I think we are going to try and finish off the box, so I'll turn it around so you can see. But the box is down here to go over the wheel well, just so that we can use storage. Like we've got one, can't really see, but we've got one this side that goes into the kitchen cabinet, so we thought we can wire through that. So this side we'll be able to put the plumbing through here and then run it up towards the shower is the plan. That wall isn't actually in yet, it's just out the way because we need space. But yeah, we're going to crack on. We're going to film what we can, but when it's two-man jobs, a lot harder to film when it's taking two of us to hold things up and cut things, and we'll do what we can and we'll show you what we've done. But
I think when we first started we were setting up the tripod, but there's not really enough space for that either, because it's just another big thing. It's not very stable either, so you have to worry about shaking the van or knocking it over, and it's a thing, but it's fine. It's good fun.
Yeah, so we're going to crack on now and I will show you when we've done something. Thanks so much for watching this week's video. Next week we will be installing our solar panels and beginning the wiring inside, so don't forget to like, subscribe and follow along to see how we get on.